First off, I just have to say, massive, massive congratulations. You just hit your very first major savings milestone. And as your advisor, I literally cannot stress enough how huge that is. Seriously, take a moment right now and just celebrate that victory. It's a big deal. But today, we're going to use this explainer to look at what comes next. We are going to completely redefine what real, long-term financial success actually looks like behind the scenes. Because, look, while you've made absolutely incredible progress on paper, I know there is still a mental hurdle we need to cross together.
So let's just address the elephant in the room right off the bat. You hit your savings goals. So why in the world do you still feel broke? Why is there still that nagging anxiety in the back of your mind? Well, it's mostly because of what you're seeing around you every single day. Despite making really solid, responsible progress, you are constantly bombarded by this loud, flashy wealth on social media. You see the expensive cars, the exotic vacations, people who seem to be living on totally unlimited budgets, taking selfies on private jets they probably just rented for an hour. And honestly, it makes you feel like you are somehow falling behind. But I'm here to tell you right now, your perception of what's normal is completely distorted.
Okay, let's dive into this. Take the number $400. According to recent studies, the average person literally cannot handle a $400 emergency without borrowing money or putting it on a credit card. I mean, think about that for a second. A simple, routine car repair, a minor medical bill, or a broken microwave would throw the vast majority of people you see into total financial chaos. The very fact that you have built up a savings buffer instantly proves that you're actually far, far ahead of the curve, even if it doesn't always feel like it in the moment. Now, to understand why so many people are stuck in that incredibly fragile position, we have to talk about lifestyle inflation. When most people get a raise, a bonus, or land a new job, their very first instinct, almost automatically, is to upgrade their lifestyle. They get a more expensive apartment, a fancier car, and suddenly all that extra money is trapped. It instantly becomes a new mandatory need. They turn their hard-earned progress into this endless treadmill where they're earning more, sure, but they perpetually feel broke. The fact that you resisted this exact trap when you hit your savings milestone, that is exactly why you are succeeding right now.
So the crucial point is, you have to understand the vital difference between basic living costs and lifestyle inflation. On one hand, you have your actual non-negotiable necessities, right? Housing, utilities, groceries, basic transportation. But on the other hand, people have somehow convinced themselves that massive car payments, stacked premium subscriptions, and eating out 5 nights a week are basic survival needs. Spoiler alert, they aren't. That is just lifestyle inflation completely disguised as survival. The fact that you have money left over after covering your actual necessities is a massive achievement. That leftover money is the exact thing that separates merely surviving from actually having options in life.
And having those options means you've got to stop falling for what I call the highlight reel illusion. Stop comparing your everyday, totally responsible financial reality to someone else's carefully curated, heavily filtered social media posts. The people who are flexing the loudest online are very often the ones financing their lives up to their eyeballs just to impress strangers they don't even know. I really need you to stop comparing your quiet, steady progress to their fake wealth. Real financial stability, it isn't a luxury vacation photo. Actually, scratch that. It's beautifully boring, highly functional, and completely stress-free. Instead of chasing the highlight reel, let's look at the actual quiet signs of stability. Things like paying your bills on time without having to frantically juggle payment dates or borrow from a friend, saving something, anything, consistently because it proves you're finally playing the long game, and my absolute personal favorite, sleeping peacefully without that mind-racing 2 a.m. money panic. I know these might sound like the bare minimum of just being a functional adult, but I promise you, they are massive, severely underrated victories that millions of people struggle with every single month. What's really fascinating to me is how these big victories translate into your everyday financial health. Think about your new routines lately. Logging into your bank app without holding your breath because you operate on actual information now, not just blind hope. Going to the grocery store and focusing on what you actually want to eat, rather than doing advanced calculus in the checkout line to see if your card is going to decline. Or even just having the luxury to buy extra household items when they're on sale, way before you desperately need them. These little routine behaviors, they are profound indicators of true financial maturity. And that maturity leads directly to this really sophisticated concept called selective cheapness. This is where you are actively spending intentionally on the things you value and absolutely ruthlessly cutting the things you don't. Listen, it is perfectly fine to buy that expensive artisanal coffee if you genuinely love it and it brings you joy, as long as you refuse to pay for, say, those premium cable packages you literally never turn on.
It's not about depriding yourself, it's about understanding value versus price. You are making intentional decisions based on your actual priorities instead of just spending blindly. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when life inevitably throws you a curveball. Consider the broken phone scenario. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, a shattered screen is a catastrophic, tear-inducing crisis that leaves you stranded and panicked until payday. But because you hit your savings milestone and built that financial buffer, a broken phone is just a choice between options. You can choose to repair it, buy a replacement, or maybe just say, you know what, I'll upgrade to a better model. You are responding to problems now, rather than just passively enduring them.
That exact same buffer also grants you this wonderful thing called everyday social freedom. Think about those modest human interactions we all have. Grabbing a coffee with a friend, splitting a pizza for game night, or chipping in a few bucks for a coworker's farewell gift. Being able to afford these completely normal social experiences without needing to conduct a full-blown financial planning session beforehand means you are no longer living in financial survival mode. It means money is no longer the main character dictating every single move in your life. And because you aren't operating in that survival mode anymore, you have unlocked an absolute superpower: financial patience. This is the luxury of waiting for the right sale, holding out for the right job offer, or making a thoughtful purchase without a single drop of desperation. People who are financially stressed, they make decisions based purely on urgency and cash flow. But your savings buffer means you never, ever have to jump at the first offer you see. You have the security to wait, which almost always means you end up making much better choices in the long run. Let's move to and see how this builds into a complete transformation of how you view the world. You are currently right in the middle of experiencing this vital shift from scarcity thinking to opportunity thinking. Under scarcity, money is just an obligation. It's something that instantly disappears into bills the second it hits your checking account. But with opportunity thinking, money becomes a tool. You're starting to view your income as a resource that creates possibilities, gives you choices, and helps you intentionally build the life you actually want to live. Because you're operating with this new opportunity mindset, you now possess minor setback resilience. A random parking ticket, a flat tire, a washing machine that suddenly starts making a super weird noise. Look, these are simply inconveniences to now, not full-blown life disasters. You can absorb these minor financial shocks without them creating this awful domino effect of late fees and panic. It just proves that your behind-the-scenes financial systems, that beautifully boring machinery we set up together, is working perfectly in the background. There is a truth I really want to let sink in for you today. Wealth isn't always loud. These quiet victories are what real financial health looks like. Honestly, nobody is out there posting screenshots of their fully funded emergency account on social media, right? Nobody goes viral for not panicking when their washing machine breaks. But I assure you, your boring, steady, long-term security will absolutely outlast the temporary, high-interest status symbols of your peers. For sure. You are doing so much better than you think. Which brings us to my final challenge for you today. Now that your financial energy isn't entirely consumed by immediate survival, you get to start dreaming bigger. So ignore the loud noise of the highlight reel, tune it all out, and appreciate your beautifully boring foundation. The real question is, if you were able to build this much quiet wealth while you felt like you were just surviving, what in the world are you capable of building now that you are actually free? Keep up the amazing work. We've got a lot to look forward to.